Hey guys, thanks for listening to Blacking Off. Before we get started, I just wanted to apologize for the horrible audio and video quality. When I was setting up the lighting, things looked good to me, but I was clearly deceived. So there's a lot of video noise, meaning there's a lot of grainy footage. It could look a lot better, and then there's a lot of peaking in the audio, which is very frustrating because I did a lot of sound checks. Just looking at it, everything looked fine. The thing is, I didn't listen to it back because I was just kind of like, oh, it looks fine when you see it's not peaking. But it turns out it was. I updated this firmware in this program to support my interface, and unfortunately, it deceived me as well. So first episode is not the best quality, but number 2 is gonna be perfect. All right, now let's get into it. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the first episode of Blacking Off. I'm Derek Blackman, of course, and this has been a long time coming. I've been meaning to do a podcast for the longest time, and I couldn't figure out exactly what I wanted to do. You know, I've always wanted to do podcasts with other people, which I am doing. I'm doing the Snark Tank with Chris Raygun and Tom Sweeney. That's going pretty well, and I thought the best thing to do was just launch a solo podcast as well, kind of like Bill Burr style, but I also wanted to have some video. I wanted to have a video format because, let's face it, that just it does better. I know it's just more compelling. You just want to watch it more than, and even if you're just listening, you're driving your car, just knowing that there's this video footage. If something interesting happens, you know you want to click and check the video real quick or something like that. But I've always been interested in podcasting. The funny thing is, so I was trying to set up a new thing for RSS feed, so it can go to iTunes and all the other platforms. And I wanted to use my old email address. And it was like, hey, you already have an account. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because I know I had a Podbean account for a separate email for a separate podcast, which I'll get to in a second. But I didn't remember anything from my old email. So then I figured out the password. And it turns out it was in 2012, and I forgot about this until just now, where I recorded a podcast with cell phone footage. I recorded with the cell phone audio. It was on a Droid X. If you guys remember those, there were some of the first good smartphones that were coming out, like the Android and the Droid, the Droid 2, and the Droid X. And we were in a park, me and my friend Nando, and we recorded almost an hour. And the podcast was called Sweet Bang Tube, which was kind of a nod to Idiocracy, if any of you have seen that movie. So it was pretty crazy, and listening to it, obviously terrible audio. We were just doing it in the park. We were just recording on the cell phone. Sounds like we're on a phone call or something like that. But it was pretty funny, and something that was also pretty funny was that I actually was talking shit about pineapple pizza in that podcast. Because there's been that whole thing. A lot of people know that I am not a fan of pineapple pizza at all. And I did a video back in 2017. It was in 2017 when I got back from Greece not too long ago. It was one of my first videos that I put out, I think, when I got back to the States. And it was called Pineapple Pizza versus the World. And the cool thing about that, I asked a lot of people to collab with me. And I actually asked iDubbbz. It's like, hey man, you mind throwing in a clip? And he was like, sure. And his clip was so good, and I'm still grateful to this day that he even he was just completely willing to do it. And even though he had millions upon millions of subs, and at that time I was barely over 100K. I would say early 2017, maybe I was at 120K, and versus now where it's over 400K. But the funny thing is, YouTube is such just dog shit that even with the amount of subs I have now, the algorithm is just completely throttles you. And it's a problem that everyone's aware of at this point. It's one of the reasons why people are like, I just don't like YouTube as much as I used to. Myriad of problems, and that's one of the problems for a lot of the creators. I was talking about this on a stream just last night, actually. I was talking about how there's a few problems. Like when I upload a video, I lose subscribers, people don't get notifications, and other little problems here and there. But one thing that I always wanted to do, I would see people, they would put their merchandise. It would be in the description of their video. Pretty much, if you look at somebody's video on YouTube and then you would just see kind of in the description, just like right under the video, it would show their merchandise was advertised. And I thought that was really cool that you can link up your Teespring. And so I was never available for that. And so I sent, YouTube a couple of emails like, hey, like, what's going on? How come I can't do this? And they're like, oh, we're rolling it out slowly but surely. And I said, hey, it's been forever. It's been like a year. Like, you guys aren't rolling this out anymore. My channel is just not, I can't do it. And what was the reasoning? They never gave me one. But so, you know what? I have two other channels. I have a channel called Black Chad that I've had for a few years. It's gone through a metamorphosis. And then I have a channel called Black Metal, which I created late last year in 2019. And so those are eligible. My Black Chad channel has 22K on it, I think, subscribers, and the Black Metal one has 13K, and I can do it on those. So that just letting you know that my main channel has a huge problem. And I thought, like, okay, this sucks. Now I'm going to take the opportunity to just do this podcast thing. It should be pretty fun. I can get to a lot of, like, subjects, multiple subjects. And I don't have to really, the algorithm, whatever, I don't care. And something that I thought I would just really focus on is just, hey, you guys supporting me on Patreon or something like that and getting involved. And I'm going to do an email segment, like a Q&A segment. There's a segment at the end of the podcast. So if you want to get involved and stuff, you can go to my Patreon at patreon.com/someblackguy. And then you can just, I think it's like $2, and then you can just write in, and then we can just you can participate that way. All of that other good stuff. So I'm excited. It's good stuff is happening. There's a lot of stuff happening in my life. I'm finally putting fitness as a priority, something that I haven't done in quite a while. The fitness thing is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I've been wanting to be in the fitness industry, but I just haven't been in the right mindset. And then there was other things happening, like in 2016. A lot of you that have been longtime viewers, you know that I was diagnosed with mitral valve prolapse, which means one of my mitral valve is, it's a little messed up. So a little blood gets pumped backwards sometimes, makes you freak out. Makes you have panic attacks, seems like you're having a heart attack and stuff like that, but I have the right medication, very simple, and it's like I don't even have it. So I got that taken care of. I developed sinus issues late in my life, so I never understood what any of that stuff was. And then so now it took a while for me to figure out things, and my ENT didn't even help me. Like, he's like, just take Claritin and Flonase. And I was like, the Flonase and Claritin doesn't really seem to be helping. I feel like I have ear infections. And then it wasn't until my friend that's been dealing with them his entire life, he was like, you need to take Zyrtec. And that fixed everything. It fixed, like, almost everything. No more equilibrium problems. I don't have that swimmer's ear burning sensation. Things that my ENT never even suggested me to take, like Claritin, didn't do anything for me. The Loratadine didn't do anything for me. And then the funny thing is, this girl that I used to be involved with, she even suggested Zyrtec to me, like, by its scientific name. And I was just like, I can't believe this. Long story short, all these problems I've been having, I'm getting rid of them, knocking them out one by one. I have some injuries that I'm still dealing with that I never got to. I injured my wrist a long time ago. There's even a story of it on the Snark Take podcast where I jumped out of my buddy's the bed of his truck. Other stuff has happened to me, football injuries mainly, and that's also been some problems I've been dealing with. I injured my Achilles just a couple of weeks ago around the time Kobe died, and it was just a really, really bad week for me. But all of that BS aside, I'm pushing forward. That's going to be priority. So as this pushes along, you're going to notice me shrinking a little bit because I'm actually putting in some work. I'm feeling good. I'm focused, and now I'm like focused enough to just take on so many other projects, just do the Snark Tank, do this podcast, still like try to do things like Twitter Trash, do my other two channels, and just a whole myriad of stuff. So this should be pretty cool. I'm excited to finally do this. And that's just going to pretty much wrap up this little intro, and we can get into the other segments and stuff, because pretty much how it's going to work is I'm going to try to just do 2 to 3 segments per episode, probably 3. And then I haven't decided if I'm going to do a clip channel or if I'm just going to clip the things and put them on this channel as well. while I'm editing and all that stuff and I'm finalizing everything, I'll think about it and I'll have an answer there. But yeah, so we're off, I think we're off to a good start. Hopefully you haven't clicked off yet, because I'd be really fucking sad.
You should have never trusted Hollywood.
So it is Sunday night over here, and the Oscars just passed. The Oscars are over, and it was pretty much what you expected. Really boring. A lot of preachy stuff, comedy that wasn't so funny, and I don't know. It was weird that I even punished myself to watch the Oscars this time, because I haven't watched the Oscars in years. The last time I really even paid attention at all was, I think, back in like 2016. There was that whole thing. There was that hashtag like Oscars so white. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I think Kanye was a part of that. I think he was involved. Maybe not. He might have been, but there were some other people that were definitely involved with Oscars so white. And that was another thing. It was just an eye roller where I kind of explained why. Oh, one of the reasons why Oscars so white, why mostly white people win Oscars, is because of where we live. We live in the United States, where it's predominantly white people, and so white people usually are, dominating the roles because there's more of them there. And I said something like along the lines, as an example, imagine having a hashtag like that in another country, like say Bollywood. Say there's like Bollywood, I'm sure they have some award shows, right? And what if you're like, oh, Oscar's so Indian or something like that, Oscar's so brown? Like, they'd probably be like scratching their heads like, what do you want us to do? Now, obviously, the United States is more of a melting pot, but the whole thing, it was so dumb that there was people that were trying to just make things more diverse, and so people weren't winning who actually deserved it. It was more of like, I'm going to give it to who we want to win for diverse purposes, and so the media gets off our back and everybody's happy and all that stuff, and it just kind of was just really cringy. But even before that, the last time I truly paid attention to the Oscars, I think, was in 2014, and I think it was when Birdman took Best Picture, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but I think that's who won it. And yeah, because I called it. I remember saying Birdman's going to take it, and then I tweeted out like a picture of Harvey Birdman, and then I think also Birdman, hip-hop Birdman of the big timers. So I think there was that. And then I was also really bummed that I think, who was it? I think it was Sylvester Stallone. He didn't win like Best Supporting Actor, and that's who I wanted to win. I wanted Stallone to win. I thought he deserved it. I thought he was great in Creed. I think Stallone doesn't get a good rap. I think a lot of people just like to make fun of him because of the way he talks and everything. I get that. It's funny. But I think that he's a fantastic writer. I think he is a really good actor. Go watch Rocky Balboa, that 2006 one, when he's like old as dirt and he looks like clay and everything. And go listen to that little monologue he gives when he's giving that little speech to his brother. Not his brother. What the hell am I talking about? His son. He's talking to his son because his son's being a little bitch. And then he just kind of like slaps him up, figuratively. And then when he says that iconic line that is one of the best lines to me ever, when he says, "It's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward." And then he's like, "And that's how winning is done." And like it's such a passionate, like I so believe him. When he's saying that stuff, I get like chills. And I'm like, dude, that's a good actor. Not every role he's done was he like great in it, obviously. But he's done some stuff. He's had some heart-wrenching soliloquies, man. Like for real. So I think he doesn't get the respect he deserves. I think he's a legend in that field too, because people say he's like a legend as Rocky, and that's pretty much as far as it goes. But I think he's much more of a legend, just rounded out. Like he's obviously produced a lot of good things. He's written a lot of stuff. So I was pretty pissed off when he didn't win. I think he definitely deserved it. Especially, it was really his last chance, man. If you really want to just like respect the guy, and if you guys are torn between who you should choose, give it to him, man. It's not for diverse purposes. It's for just like fucking respect, man. So Oscars have always been kind of a shit show. So this year I didn't really care about who won and all this and this and that. The only thing I really cared about was Joker. I wanted to know if Joker was going to take anything. And Joker was not. He was striking out. The movie was striking out. And I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen because of all the press, everything that has happened, about the Joker. Oh, the Joker's problematic. The Joker's about It represents the incels. It represents the gamers and all of the people that were involved in Gamergate and all of that stuff. I'm sure you guys have heard that many times, and it was just very laughable and very sad. Really, it was really sad because Joker is just a really good movie, right? And Joaquin Phoenix is fantastic. He's definitely one of my favorite actors. Gladiators it's hard for me to say. I usually say Gladiator is my favorite film. Shawshank Redemption is a close second. Sometimes I feel like they're interchangeable. But Gladiator is a fantastic, because you have like Russell Crowe. I really like Russell Crowe. If you haven't seen A Beautiful Mind, you're fucking up. A Beautiful Mind is a great movie. Absolutely fantastic. And then, so you have Russell Crowe. You have Joaquin Phoenix. You have Ridley Scott directing, which everybody knows Ridley Scott's a badass. And then you have Hans Zimmer on the score. And Hans Zimmer is, he's the best. He's GOAT. Like some people like to say John Williams. I disagree. John Williams has made some great stuff. Come on, don't even, I'm not taking anything away from him, but I think Hans Zimmer has just too many instant classics, too many. In Pirates, Gladiator, pretty much everything he touches, man. Inception is one of the best things. I think he was on Interstellar. He was on so many things, and time in Inception is used in so many motivational videos and so many things. It's probably racked up more views really than anything John Williams has made. And I'm not, so I guess I am throwing a little bit of shade at John Williams. I'm just saying Hans Zimmer is the GOAT for sure. And so Gladiator is a fantastic film. The only thing that you can take away from it is the same thing that everybody does in Ancient Anything, is that they just give them British accents. That's the only thing you can take away from it. That everybody just gets lazy. They're like, hey, this is based in Rome. Instead of giving them Italian type of Latin accents, let's just make them British. They do it in all of it. So that's why it kind of gets a pass. It doesn't in all of it. But I digress. The whole thing, so Joker, right? It's cool that Joaquin Phoenix won for Best Actor. You know, that was great. Good for him because he deserves it, man. He's been in some great movies, man, and he clearly can act his ass off. So he's a little weird, but hey, whatever. And so some people were also turned off by him giving his little vegan activist speech. Some people were really turned off about that. Me, I don't really mind, because he's not the way, especially the way that he brings it up. He's not like shaming you, essentially. He's kind of just letting you know, well, this is what happens when you drink milk or something, for example. And he wants people to like move away from that. Now, look, I don't really hate all that stuff. I really don't. It doesn't bother me in that sense. Obviously, militant vegans, people that are really hostile. I ran into it one time because I remember, who was it? Lauren Shin. She made a video. If you guys don't know that, she's a YouTuber. She works with, I think it's The Blaze. I could be wrong. But, you know, conservative YouTuber. If people that don't know Lauren Shin, you can look her up. She did something about veganism or something like a couple years ago, and she got a lot of hate. And so I remember saying something and talking to some people. I had an interview with her. Like, we had a little bit of discussion. I think it was like 40 minutes, something on vegan hostility, where it's like, I don't really even mind vegan activism. I don't even think that like they're entirely, I think they do have a lot of an ethical argument, because a lot of the way that the farming and stuff happens, we've all seen the documentaries and stuff. We know how a lot of the conditions are terrible and stuff. We get that. So I don't remember exactly what all that stuff was about, but I just remember catching a little bit of heat for associating with her. And because I wasn't even like shitting on them, right? It wasn't like some other people I saw. It's like, hey, we're going to have a debate, and then someone's going to pull out a burger while I'm debating the vegan. Like, ha, ha, ha. You're really clever and edgy, bro. Wow. You know, so I've never done anything like that. My whole thing is like, I think that at a certain point, we're going to figure out things in the future. We're going to figure out the best way to do everything. Everything's going to be cool. I imagine at a certain point, you know, so as long as you're not really just being a piece of shit, I don't care if you're going to say something. It's kind of like, say, you know, like I saw, and to be honest, it's mostly people on the right that were like, oh, of course she's doing that. And I just say, imagine getting up on stage, and then you know how a lot of people I say, first of all, I want to thank God, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, whatever. And imagine all these people like tweeting out like, oh, like fucking Jesus and all this stuff. How dare you? Like, say me, I'm non-religious, but it doesn't bother me. You're giving credence and a shout out to what you believe in. Go right ahead. Why the hell would it bother me? You're not doing anything. You're not affecting me at all. You're not affecting anybody, really, are you? You're just saying some shit that you believe in. So Joaquin Phoenix said what he believed in. He believes in veganism or whatever the fuck. Okay. You know, so I think people kind of need to calm down a little bit. Just calm down. But that was really like the highlight of it. That was really the highlight. There wasn't really much stuff that happened with it. It was, you know, no drama that I really wanted. I know some people were saying some stuff about Eminem. I didn't really care. Anytime I see Eminem, I'm just annoyed by his dyed beard. I really think there's something really rubs me the wrong way with people, with men that dye their beards. And it might be something that's just more because of I wish I had a beard. Like, oh, you're lucky that you have a beard, and I think gray beards are very distinguished and they look great. And I can't grow shit. Like, what you see on my face is what I can grow. So maybe there's a little bit of what do you call it? Is it envy? I don't know if you call it jealousy or envy. I think envious would probably be more accurate. So maybe I have that stake in there. But also, I just think there's something that just looks goofy to me. When you see somebody that's in their fucking 40s or 50s and their beard is completely a solid color from like, you know, like look at Eminem's beard. It's like this solid fucking black that you know that's like, where's the gray, bruh? We know how old you are, man. You were like in your 20s when I was a kid listening to the fucking Marshall Mathers LP. As a matter of fact, I remember my friend gave me the Slim Shady LP, and on the disc, I thought, like, what is this, like, weird piece of soap on it or something? And it turns out it was like a pill. It was like a pill that looked like this little monster pill or something. Obviously, that's how young I was. I was probably like 10 or something or whatever, and at 10 or 11. And I obviously didn't know what pills were, drugs were, and stuff like that. So, you're pretty fucking old, bro. You're old. I'd say just accept it. Now, as far as me watching another Oscars, I don't know. Like, I really was surprised that I even like watched this at all. But it just really did have to do with Joker, and obviously I don't know if there's gonna be anything like that this time around. I have no idea. So at least congrats to Joaquin Phoenix. I'll probably go back to not giving a shit about the Oscars again. One thing that I definitely know that I need to check out is because I've been seeing everybody saying, hey, Parasite is great. Parasite is amazing. And then I just saw one of my friends, Elvis the Alien. I think he did a Q&A on Instagram, and he said, Parasite is 10 out of 10. And then it won a bunch of awards. I think it won like 4 Oscars or something like that. So I'm just like, I already knew a lot of people were saying it was great, but like even seeing this now kind of hammered into my head. I was like, all right, you win, Parasite. I'll take the time to watch it because I mean, I've been doing so much stuff. I haven't really taken the time to be watching anything thoroughly. It's not sad. It's not bad or anything. It definitely is. I do wish sometimes I had a little bit more time to play games or whatever, but as of right now, I'm saving my gaming for Saturday nights. So I'm streaming every Saturday night around 7 p.m. Sometimes it's going to be a little later depending on if something happens or not, but I'm saving my gaming for that. Other than that, like, I don't really have time to play video games, unfortunately. Like, say, I gotta stick to, like, a fucking mobile game when I'm, like, on the shitter or something like that. Because now it's just all about editing, going to the gym, filming another video, and just constant rotation. But, hey, that's what it takes, though. You know, I've been kind of, like, lazy and just fucking around. And it's like, yo, I can't be doing that stuff anymore, you know? I'm older. I'm an older cat, even though I look really young. And it's just time for me to put in that work. So, you know, fucking fuck the Oscars.
They are coming in and stealing our gardening jobs, our nannying jobs. They're breastfeeding our white babies with their Tres Leches milk and ruining our minds and our souls.
I'm sure most of you know who Ari Shaffir is. Ari Shaffir, I discovered him way back in the day when he was doing those videos called The Amazing Racist, where he would dress up in a KKK uniform he'd be like holding a cross or something like that, and he'd be like at a gas station, and he'd be like trying to get some gas, like, hey, like top me off in one of those little, gallon containers or whatever, so he can go burn his cross or whatever. And he'd just be asking people, and that's the type of person Ari is. You shock jock kind of guy, doing things that definitely could have got him murked, definitely could have got him killed back in the day, but he's alive. Now, so already, just that already kind of knowing, setting the precedent for me of knowing who Ari Shaffir is. So, and I think most people started to learn who Ari was through Joe Rogan, because he would come on every once in a while. They've been friends for a very long time, and then Ari Shaffir participated in Sober October. And for the very small few of you that don't know what Sober October is, which is like fucking everybody knows what Sober October is at this point pretty much. It's been going on for like 3-4 years, where it started off with Bert Kreischer and Tommy Segura, where they just had like a competition, all comedians, just who can lose the most weight, and then there was just an evolution where Joe Rogan got involved and Ari Shaffir got involved, and it became like competition type things. Where one of the years, I think it was like not last year, but I think 2018, they were just seeing how many, I forgot. They were doing something to where they almost killed themselves. Like, they were just going too hard in the paint. So this time around, they just took it easy. It was like, just take all these different classes and stuff, and then it wasn't as eventful. And as a matter of fact, they might be doing something right now as I speak. I think they might be doing some other weight loss competitions or something like that. So that's what they always do. And, all right, so people kind of learn a lot about Ari Shaffir around there, and Ari was kind of always being a dick around that stuff. Now, getting to why I'm even talking about Ari Shaffir is because he's in hot water, because he did something really, really, really stupid, right? So, as everybody knows, Kobe Bryant died a while back. Very tragic. I took it pretty hard because, Kobe was definitely a big influence to me, like absolutely. And, it was like, he was an influence to everybody. And I said, like, in a little video, I made this Instagram video, I said that he felt like kind of like a mentor, like a father figure to me, but I think it'd be more accurate, like, say he felt like an older brother to me. And because just listening to him speak and the stuff that he would talk about, and his Mamba mentality, just his hard work, just the stuff that he would do, man. An amazing talent, amazing hard work. It just did a lot of great things. It touched a lot of people. So Ari would do these things that when celebrities would die, he would shit on them, take to Twitter or whatever, Instagram, talk shit about them. And there was a very small niche amount of his audience that would like that. I would say probably 5% of his audience. Everybody else is probably like, ooh, that's in poor taste. You know what I mean? I'm not sure what he's gaining from doing this, but hey, to each their own, I guess. So Ari, people were saying, hey, Kobe died. It's time for you to go to work. And so he did it. But Ari claims that he didn't know that, and I believe him, that he didn't know that, say, Kobe's daughter Gigi died, other people died, like other girls died. He didn't know children were involved at all. So when he put out a tweet, like, he went like really hard in the paint, saying some really egregious stuff about Kobe. And let me just pull this up. Actually, I can pull this up real quick. I didn't actually prepare that tweet because I didn't think I was gonna read it. But I think actually maybe I should, because I do these Twitter trash, right? My Twitter trash series, and people sent me that tweet. They're like, hey man, someone needs to check Ari, and I was aware that what he does, so I didn't like include it, because I'm like, obviously this is really messed up, but I know it's a joke, so I'm not going to include it as far as like Twitter trash, even though yes, it is trash. It's obviously trash, but it's not like, I always collect tweets that are like from people saying things that are genuine. Like, they genuinely believe these things, and so that's why I didn't include it. And I know I have it here somewhere. It's just going to take me a second to find. There it is right here. So Ari said, Kobe Bryant died 23 years too late today. He got away with the R word, because all the Hollywood liberals who attack comedy enjoy rooting for the Lakers more than they dislike I'll just say it, rape. There goes monetization, sweet. But big ups to the hero who forgot to gas up his chopper. I hate the Lakers. What a great day. Hashtag fuck the Lakers. And so, yeah, obviously Kobe dying, meaning so much to so many people. People did not take that well at all. Obviously, people obviously didn't take that well. I saw it, and knowing that Ari does those things, I was just like, what a fucking idiot. But I didn't really pay too much attention to it. But there's a lot of people, whether it's a joke or not, they were not happy. And I get it. Because Kobe is not, like, the people that he would usually do it to, they were not on the level of Kobe Bryant. Because Kobe Bryant completely eclipsed, 100% transcended basketball. He was just an influential person, just being, like, in his community, you know, with his Mamba Academy, and just when he's just donating money and just charity work that he's done, the amount of people that he's given opportunities to do great things within their environment. And so it's one of those things where he's just touched a lot of lives. So a lot of people were super angry, and super edgy Ari did something that you never thought he would do. He privated his Twitter account because he was getting so much heat. And then he even apologized on Instagram, and then, you know, you couldn't even comment on the post. So he was explaining everything, and that's Ari, man. Like, so you've seen all of his friends. You saw Bert Kreischer, Tom Segura talk about it. I saw the Rat King. I don't know why his name escapes me right now, but you know, the with the mullet, the comedian with the mullet. I can't remember his name right now. But he, with the other, I'm having like a aneurysm right now. Who's the big brown guy? Oh my God, holy crap. So let's see. So okay, they're on the King and the Sting together, and the Five and the Kid. So Brian Callen and Brendan Schaub, and I can't remember the Rat King, and Chris D'Elia. Sorry, Rat King. I doubt you're ever gonna listen to this. But I don't know why I can't remember his name right now. I just remember, like, I know who he is and completely. But all those comedians, all the names I just dropped, they all talked about it. They all talked about Ari doing that. And they're like, ooh. And they all pretty much unanimously said the same thing. I don't get it. Why would you do that? It's really stupid. And then they all kind of said something that I thought that was really interesting. They were all like, why would he say something like that? He's normally such a nice guy. Ari's such a nice guy. Like, he's always so nice to me and stuff. And all I can think of is, what are you talking about? The amount of stuff that's available that Ari has done, like he beat up Bobby Lee. Like he stomped out Bobby Lee. All right, so there's one thing. He dosed, if you want to say it lightlier, Bert Kreischer in Bert's home with his kids home. Gave him some fucking Molly. And then, like, Bert had multiple panic attacks. He had to take a flight the same night. And it was just a terrible thing. He's made fun of Bert's kid for wearing braces and saying some mean shit that you shouldn't say to a 13-year-old girl, because that is when their self-esteem is at the absolute lowest and they're super sensitive. And he doesn't give a shit, obviously. There's plenty of other things. But let's just say those little things that I already sprinkled in there. I think you knowing those things, you can't necessarily say that he's just the nicest guy, you know? And even when it came to apologizing to Bert Kreischer about dosing him, he didn't really apologize. He wrote some bullshit in Spanish and wanted Tom Segura to translate, and it was just like a bunch of talking shit in between of kind of apologizing. And I'm just saying, like, look, I've always enjoyed Ari, but he's kind of a scumbag. I mean, you know... And I'm not trying to make this comparison like, say, Ari's like Ted Bundy at all. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying somebody as egregious as Ted Bundy, a bunch of people had nothing but nice things to say about him. Like, think about, like, even the judge that convicted him in Florida, I think it was, to be like, you're going to electric chair, son. He was even like, man, you're fucking dope. Like, you're dope as fuck, homie. Like... if you would have walked another life, I would have loved for you to practice under me. Or he said something like that. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing. But the whole thing is just like, he's so charismatic, Ted Bundy, that it's like, oh, he's done all this egregious stuff. And even the judge is like, hey, man, you're pretty, even though you killed all those fucking women, you're pretty dope, man. I wish you didn't do that, because you would have been dope to hang out with. So then I'm just using that so as an example, like, yeah, Ari can be a very nice person to a lot of people. He can be very caring. He can care about the community of comics and everything like that. But he can also be a piece of shit at the same time. That duality can absolutely exist. And I think that's him. And so I'm not surprised he did that. And I don't know what's going to happen to Ari. I don't know if anything's going to happen. I think, him laying low, this will probably pass over after a while because, since he's not the biggest comic, he's not like A-list status type of thing, that's actually very lucky for him because if he was, then he probably couldn't come back from this because his name, he's too big to be doing stuff like this. But he was kind of always just teetering at that place where he's big, but he just never crossed that threshold into absolute stardom. And I think that's by choice. I think he didn't want to do that. I think he's fine where he is now. But now some people might be reluctant to want to work with him going out and performing. I don't know if he's doing spots right now, if he's performing. If he is, then he's probably fine. If he's not, at a certain point, he would have to test the waters and see if anyone's going to try to whoop his ass. Because I know he got a ton of death threats. There was people that were furious. And I just think he really underestimated how much Kobe meant to a lot of people. So it was just a really dumb move. Obviously, it was a joke. But there are some things that even I know I'm not going to say. I'm not going to blast on the internet. I'll say to my homies, but I'm not going to blast it on the internet because it's going to get to the wrong people. I'll just say this. I'll just leave it at this. Some of my favorite jokes, and might be messed up to say because I love dark humor, but some of my favorite jokes are say surrounding 9/11 or something. And every once in a while I'll see these 9/11 memes and I'm like, when they'll prop up when the anniversary shows up, right? And there is a part of me that really, really, really wants to retweet this stuff. I'm like, man, I want to, but I am not that dumb. Because there's too many people that are not going to get this joke. They're not going to care that it's a joke. They're going to be mad, Hey, and if you want to see them, there's two that I'm thinking about in particular. It's Will Smith in Fresh Prince. He's dancing on the fucking towers as they're going down, which is awful. But it's so ridiculous and ludicrous, I can't help but laugh. And then there's another one of Hulk Hogan that is just giant, and he's fucking hitting the towers with a chair, and he's fucking doing his whole thing, hey, come here, brother Tower, there's no audio, it's just a fucking picture of a meme. But I'm not gonna blast that out on my Twitter. I'm not gonna put that on my timeline. I'm not going to do anything like that because that's just fucking stupid. I can just talk about it with my friends, share it amongst them because they're going to get my sense of dark humor. And that's what Ari should leave this shit to because ultimately the tweeting about dead celebrities, what has that really done for you, bro? Other than just maybe a little bit of self-satisfaction, look how edgy I am. We get it, man. You were the amazing racist. We get how edgy you are, dude. Damn.
And now for our final story. Today, Grade A Under A tweeted out a nude picture of the Keemstar.
Let's talk about some YouTube drama. Some of that spicy drama, some of that tea that everybody's always raving about, but not really. It's not going to be drama necessarily, but at the same time it is. There's a bigger, picture to this. So there's a hashtag called #StopJStation. Now this hashtag was started by Keemstar. He put out a video a few days ago and he was explaining who JStation is. And if you want to get a perfect understanding of who I'm JStation is, I suggest you watch that video because he'll just break it down pretty short, and it's a good package and stuff because I'm only going to recap just a teeny little bit. But I'm JStation. If you haven't heard of this guy, he's just one of those YouTubers. I think he has over 5 million subs, and he just likes to take advantage of celebrities dying. So kind of like how Ari does. But JStation does it to profit. He'll make the YouTube videos, and he'll do the Ouija board. He's oh, I communicated with the dead or whatever. And he'll usually do it with anybody famous dies, and he's on it immediately. And so a lot of people find it distasteful, super disrespectful. They're annoyed, and obviously I get it. It's kind of a very douchey thing to do, like clearly. And so I think he did something at some point, and I can't remember if it was with XXX Tentacion or who it was. It was somebody. It was some rapper. When somebody passed away, it might have been when Etika passed. That he was like, oh, I'm gonna pretend to do it then. But then he came out and kind of like clickbaited everybody saying, oh, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to do this. Like something like he was trying to do some type of teachable moment. Of course, that's completely out of character. He was just, trying to, double, like, what would you call it? Like really pull the wool over everybody's eyes. And of course, so the reason why why people want to cancel him is because it's much worse than just trying to take advantage of like dead celebrities or whatever. He pretended his girlfriend was dead. So he was dating this girl named Alexia. She's a YouTuber as well. And he said she was dead. Now, I wasn't really paying attention to all that stuff because I really didn't care, just to be honest. But then I saw a clip of him like trying to explain that she's dead, and he was trying to cry. When I saw that, I was like, this is so unbelievably fake. And I couldn't help but like chuckle a little bit because of how fake it was. And there was a lot of people that obviously saw it and they're like, okay, this is BS. But at the same time, they were so appalled that they're like, this is so over the top. Like, I can't believe that you would even fake about something like that, that you would even lie about your girlfriend being dead. And then when you got to think about it, you got to think about people that are involved, people that know her family members. You know that there's people that are going to reach out and all of a sudden they got to hear that, she's dead, because obviously family members and everybody's not going to be in on this, even if she was in on it. But it turns out clearly she wasn't on it. She was complicit, but at the same time, she didn't want to do it. And that caused a breakup for them. So that's when things started spiraling out of control because just before the breakup, he did one of those Ouija things again, like I'm speaking to my girlfriend, whatever. And then she released a video explaining everything. It was like a very long video. J Station countered with the video, just explaining it was a he said, she said, like, oh, she's abusive, oh, he's abusive, blah, 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 blah. And then it got to the point where I think he was arrested for, assaulting her or something like that. I didn't look too much into it because, to be honest, I just don't really care that much because this is not about their drama. I was just giving you guys a little bit of a background. This is more about the hashtag Stop J Station, because there's a lot of people that support it. Obviously, they think J Station needs to go. They want J Station off of YouTube. But then there's a lot of people like myself that think that it's not a great idea because of who the powers that be or the other people that would get involved to just take another jab at YouTube. YouTube has been throttled over the years. You know about the adpocalypse of the Wall Street Journal when they went after PewDiePie. That was a disaster. That was pretty much right there. That was the catalyst for things really fucking up for YouTube. For YouTube being in the horrible shape that it's in now. It was already trickling down. I remember back in 2015. In 2015, like, there were certain videos. If you wanted to mention something about, terrorism or something like that, put that in your title. Videos demonetized. I'm talking about in 2015. This was before you were able to appeal them. Years before. Your shit was just demonetized. This was before any controversy sprung up on YouTube. Any videos that had to do with sexual assault in the title, demonetized. This was 2015. So it was already like, oh, there's already something in place here. This sucks. And then they just made some tweaks and rolled some other shit out around the adpocalypse. A lot of people started losing money, including myself. I lost a lot of money. It's all right, though. Just staying busy and then trying to just keep afloat and everything. So the whole thing, what it seems like what Stop J Station might do, because Keemstar is getting the media involved. People are writing articles. People that are higher ups that could probably like get some pressure on YouTube are getting involved. And there's people that hate YouTube, like the Wall Street Journal and other old media, that can use this to their advantage and use it to scare advertisers away again. Because look at what I'm J Station's doing. A guy that has 5 million subs. Look what he's doing. We can't have this on our platform. and then all of a sudden, like Coca-Cola or some other people, T-Mobile, somebody might just flee now. They're like, oh, this is a bad look for us. You know, kind of the way that they're like, oh, look at there's, you guys have some ads running over terrorist recruitment videos or something. And then they're like, oh, we got to get out of here. So it just kind of like leads to bad people taking advantage of something that you're trying to do. You're trying to do something that's, I guess, morally good. I'm not really for it either way, just to be honest, because, like, I don't really care about J-Station. But, and to me, I was always more for the Wild Wild West of the YouTube. I think most people are. And so now it's kind of being under the guise of, like, we need to think of the children. We need to, like, because most people that watch J-Station are children. Because the only reason, they're the only ones that are, like, goofy enough and live in fantasy land enough to, like, even enjoy videos like that. Because I sure as hell ain't watching J-Station videos or people that are probably in their 20s or anything like that. That shit isn't entertaining. Pretending to talk to the dead, like, we know you're not talking to the dead. You're just being an idiot. So kids, some can still think it's completely fake, but they're still going to be completely entertained because it's just so wild and silly. And so they're thinking, oh, we need to protect the ones that can't tell the difference. Well, I say, if your kid, let's say your kid is 13 years old, which you're supposed to be 13 to watch YouTube, and obviously kids younger will be watching YouTube. We know that. But the thing is, let's just say your kid is 13 and can't tell that J-Station's videos are fake. Well, I think if that's the case, you're failing as a parent. Because if your 13-year-old is going to look at, hey, I'm going to talk to XXXTentacion through a Ouija board or whatever and think that, wow, I can't believe they can actually do this. Come on, bros. Come on. Now, to be fair, do I think J-Station can have something done to him at all? Yeah. I think looking into the little bit that I did look into, I think he definitely deserves some strikes. Now, some of the deceptive stuff that he's done, I think that, yeah, because I remember, who was it? It had to be iDubbbz' Content Cop. He did the Content Cop, and he said it was Content Cop Jake Paul, but it was actually about Rice Gum. Now, at first, YouTube pulled it down saying for deceptive practices, but there was a reason. iDubbbz did it for a reason. He didn't want to give Rice Gum any clout. So he put Jake Paul in the title and in the thumbnail. There was a purpose behind it, so they reversed it because there was a purpose for it. He wasn't trying to deceive anyone, really. He was just trying to not give Rice Gum any clout. Now, so J-Station with his girlfriend saying that she's actually dead and people mourning and trying to, like, thinking that she's legitimately dead because some people are like, well, this is such a horrible situation. Why would anybody joke about this? So that can be super deceptive practices, right? So that can probably deserve a strike right there. And then there's a guy, a YouTuber named Nicholas DeOrio, and he saw something, and I think it was on an Instagram live stream, that J-Station was saying, hey, go flag my ex-girlfriend, go flag Alexia's video, like that was about him or something like that. So obviously, if you're going out of your way and telling your audience to flag somebody, that is obviously, you can't do that on the platform. That is totally against the terms of service. So at that point, that's another strike. So that would probably be like 2 strikes. So I think as far as that goes, you can have a couple strikes, but you need 3 strikes to be yeeted off the platform. So I don't know about him being completely taken off. I don't think he's done anything to where he can just completely remove him. However, I know YouTube have done things just to remove people that they find super undesirable. So they do have the power to do it. But I just don't really like it, to be honest. I think that him doing that shit, it's not the end of the world. It's obviously like he's a scumbag. Like he knows he's a scumbag. He's fine with it. He makes his money through scumbaggery. But I think he also, he talks to lawyers and whatnot, and he knows that, am I doing things that are within the terms of service? And I think every once in a while he just slips up from being a little bit too ambitious or whatever. Because I think those 2 things I've mentioned is definitely warranted for strikes. So as far as that, I think that's really all you can really do to him. So Keemstar, I doubt you would ever watch this. I don't think you're even on I'm on your radar whatsoever. I think we spoke like 1 time or something. So I don't think so. It's like no shade. And I do want to say this. Let me say this, because there's a lot of people that hate Keemstar. I don't hate Keemstar. I would say like 4 years ago, Well, I would say in 2016, I was misled into hating him because there was a lot of misinformation that was out about Keemstar. Yes, Keemstar's kind of a jackass, right? He's kind of a dickhead, right? But I think he knows it. He embraces that. It's almost in the way that it's different. But like, say how Bill Burr is kind of he's very mean, you know, like Bill Burr, like he can be very hostile sometimes. But like, we all embrace it, and he embraces it. So obviously I'm not comparing them, but I'm just saying there's like elements to that. So I don't care about him being mean to people or whatever the fuck he does. I don't care about that shit. The stuff that I hated him for was like erroneous. And he made a video that was like 40 or 50 minutes defending himself. And I remember saying something all those years ago where I said, hey, I don't really like Keemstar, but that video was really plausible or something like that. And he acknowledged that or some shit because he liked that tweet. So I'm putting this out here, and I'm saying that, and I kind of wish I would have said it first, just to let you guys know that I'm coming in impartial or just being objective about this. This isn't against Keemstar. This isn't like, oh, I don't like him, so I want to go against Stop J Station or whatever, because I think Keemstar has done a lot of great things. He obviously raised a lot of money for the Australian fires. He gives away a lot of stuff, gifts during the holidays and stuff. So this dude has done a lot more good than a lot of people that watch him and hate on him have done in their entire lives. Like I'm saying, like he's done some things in just a few years that I've seen him on YouTube that like there's a lot of people that aren't charitable in any way, shape, or form that would never do fucking anything. And they're like, oh, fuck this guy. And I'm like, what have you done, bro? You always hear about he who's without sins cast the first stone. Now, I'm not religious, but I fuck with that because really, all these people are talking all this shit, and you know they're all a bunch of scumbags and have all these demons in their closet. Keemstar's not perfect. Nobody's perfect, so I really don't care. I really don't care. I have no hate for the guy. But I'm just saying, like, if you do happen to see this, it doesn't seem like a great idea, but at the same time, I know you're set for life. I know you're good to go. There's just a possibility that this can hurt a lot of people that are coming up in YouTube or the people that are kind of teetering like myself. And, you know, if it does something negative, then I have to accept the consequences because, to be honest, I'm just doing this podcast and doing little things here and there. And I'm also get back in the music industry, and I want to get in the fitness industry, get other things popping, and not have this just be the sole breadwinner because how fucking unstable it is. So that's pretty much what I think about all that shit. I don't know if anything's going to happen, really. I hope nothing happens. I mean, I don't care. If Jason gets fucking yeeted, I don't fucking care either. It doesn't really matter. But I'm just saying, dangerous president.
We just got a letter. Wonder who it's from.
We're bang, okay?
It's time for the mailbag segment. I didn't know what I was going to call it, and it was the first thing that came to my head was this mailbag. You know, Q&A, AMA, whatever. It's basically you write into my Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/someblackguy, you pledge $2 because $2 is just, I've always loved that number, or saying $2. Something that always comes to my head was when I was in high school. My friend was leaning he put his legs on the under the desks in class. You can put your books. So there was just that little bookcase thing or basket. And so he was putting his legs on them, and then it broke. And then our teacher, it was my geometry teacher, he was so angry. He went on this rant about, like, you guys need to have more respect for this stuff. And he was like, do you have any idea how much this stuff costs? And then my smart ass was like, I don't know, $2. And then he kicked me out of the class. He was so mad just because I said $2. I still laugh about it though because it is absurd. He's like, you know how much these cost? $2. So yeah, but if you pledge $2, you can write in whatever you want. It doesn't matter what you say as long as it's not some inappropriate shit that would get my stuff shut down. But you can ask me anything. If you need advice, man, I did a Q&A on Instagram, and the amount of people that are asking me for advice is insane. I was actually thinking about I've been thinking about doing another podcast called The Lonely Hearts Club for a couple years now. And I'm still thinking about doing it, but I might just call this segment The Lonely Hearts Club because maybe I don't want to do a completely separate one, and The Lonely Hearts Club will just be this segment of the podcast. I don't know yet. We'll fill this out. It's just the first episode. But let's get into the questions. So the first one comes from Trisha. Trisha says, if you had the opportunity to move back to Europe, would you? Where would you go, or why would you stay in the U.S.? Love watching your videos. Thank you, Trisha. Appreciate you. And so Trisha is talking about me saying would I ever move back there again. I actually lived in Greece for a few months. I briefly dated a girl from out there, and then unfortunately it didn't work out. But I loved Greece. I really enjoyed my time out there. I really enjoyed my stay. I was pretty close to Athens, pretty much in the suburb of Athens, and I just had, man, it was so overwhelming. Finally seeing all this historical stuff, going to the Acropolis, man, and touching all that old marble that you're not supposed to touch, where it says don't touch. I actually have some vlogs that I took down, but I may put them back up. I think I might put them back up on the Patreon or something, because I don't know where else I should put them. But anyway, I've also been to Norway. Same deal, dated a girl in Norway. Obviously I'm single, didn't work out, but it was cool. Norway was gorgeous, man. Norway is a fantastic country. Fucking just, I could gush on and on about those countries, man. And I probably, if it was my choice, I would live in the United States. So I don't think, but like say, I don't mind moving to another country. Obviously, I gave it a shot when I was in Greece. And Norway, I just visited for a few weeks. But I don't know if I haven't really been anywhere else, like say just little stopped in countries just from like layovers or whatever. So, but I think I would stay in the U.S. if I had my choice. But like obviously, if there was like some big business venture and it's like either it made sense for me to move somewhere in Europe, I don't know. Since I know a little bit about Greece, I guess I wouldn't mind being there, and I know a little bit about Norway. I guess I wouldn't mind being there either, but that's just because I know them and I can't really say anything else. Andrew Bornhurst, this is my boy Andrew. This guy, he's a real G. This guy's dope. So Andrew says, "Why you trash talking my new metal love, bruh?" What was I talking about? I love new metal. I don't know what you're talking about. When was I trashing new metal? Maybe I said something that was like, there's a lot of trash new metal, but because obviously a lot of it's horrible, but there's a lot of great new metal. But no, I mean, dude, like Mudvayne's one of my favorite bands. Like Mudvayne is one of my all-time favorite bands. Like, so I definitely don't like, and Korn obviously. Like I can go on and on about new metal as well. So I don't really remember what I said. But rest assured that I am a fan of new metal. Nathan Price asked, "Are you and June Chew on Head friends outside of social media, and would you ever want to do a podcast with her?" I wouldn't say we were friends outside of social media. We talk like rarely on like Twitter or something like that. We're definitely cool though. Like I've definitely, like we said, at some point we're definitely gonna have to collab. It just completely makes sense. I always said this. I even think I said this in my Snark Tank podcast that I do with Tom Sweeney and Chris Raygun. That I think she has the best comedic timing. I think her comedic timing is so good. I think she's hilarious, and I would love for her to be on Twitter Trash. I'd absolutely love to do a podcast with her. But if we did do a podcast, it would most likely be with on the Snark Tank, and probably Armored Skeptic. Her fiance Greg would probably be involved, which would be awesome to have them to be a part of that stuff. But yeah, June's always been like really chill, really funny, and super lovely. Like in real life when we've met at like VidCon and all that stuff, she's definitely like a kind soul and really funny. It's definitely hard to find people like that are just genuine, because there's a lot of fake motherfuckers out here, dude. So definitely, I definitely appreciate my acquaintanceship, I guess I could say. Emil Krumsvik asked, "What advice do you have for someone who has no idea what to do with their life?" Oof. I mean, I don't have any fantastic advice, but I do find a lot of value in meditation. I find a lot of value in, like, say, just going on very long walks, bike rides, going on the beach. One of my favorite things to do, because I used to live in Buena Park, and so in SoCal for people. And there we had a beach called Huntington Beach, and it was about 14 miles. I would just take Beach Boulevard down, so I would just ride my bike down Beach Boulevard, or I would take one of the other streets that were parallel to it, and I would just ride to the beach, and then I would sit on the beach for about an hour and meditate, think about certain things, clear my head, really find a plan of attack. So that was a lot of times I would take time to just actually formulate plans. So like you don't know what to do with your life, you take that time to meditate and actually think about it. Think about all the things that you enjoy. Think about something that you can do every day and you wouldn't get sick of it. You know? That's why it's so great about technology and a lot of things that we can do now. Like say there's some people that can play video games every single day, and they would never get tired of it. And so there's a lot of people that are incorporating video games into their profession. There's a lot of people that like to do a lot of things. Like say, I love the fitness industry now. I have a long ways to go to get into it. But one thing that I could do every day is work out every day and just do a lot of cool shit. And it's one thing that I'd want to incorporate. Like have fitness be a part of my life, but also, make it profitable. Offer something to somebody. Maybe open up a gym with my friends or something. You know, like that's down the road, but that's all I can say is just meditate on it. Figure it out. You don't have to figure it out in a fucking day, but just take the time and then just realize what you really like and then start formulating a plan from there. Rusty Cunts, nice name. He asked, do you know who Sam Hyde is and do you like his shit? Thanks, Black Cunt. Oh, a very, very lovely sentiment. So I do know who Sam Hyde is. I know what he was involved in the shows and everything like that. I don't know enough about him, to be honest. Some of the stuff that I've seen was pretty funny to me, but like the most I would see him was like memes and stuff like that. And so I'm aware of who he is, and some people that I look up to are very aware of who he is. But me, I just never really went down that rabbit hole. So like I don't have anything that I've seen, in the small things that I have seen, I've liked, but I can't give you a real opinion because I haven't seen the overarching stuff. So that's really all I can say about him. One Lung Tom asked, have you ever thought of becoming the black guy and not just some black guy? Well, there is a lot of black people on this earth, sir. And becoming the black guy, like the one, ooh, that's a hard task, man. I could be the black guy, but the whole thing is, it's being the one, the number one. It's a very arrogant thing. Damn, that is a loud ass car. I don't know if you guys heard that. Maybe you didn't hear that through the condenser mic. It's a pretty good mic, but there was a very loud motor, fucking just sounding like the world is about to end. And now there's a car alarm going off because of it. But anyway, yeah, so being the black guy. I know it's an obvious joke and stuff, but I've always liked the name Some Black Guy, like really. I've been using that name for multiple things. Even something that I didn't mention in the very beginning of the podcast, I forgot to mention because I was talking about how I've always wanted to do podcasts, and I stumbled upon that 2012 stuff. Well, there was a podcast I did with my two other of my friends in 2013, and I called myself Some Black Guy in that podcast. And then I think pretty much the same thing around another podcast I tried to do with my roommate in 2016, 2017 called Horse and Ape. That marker, it's always been around, but it originated when I was probably 16 on MySpace. So I've always liked Some Black Guy. The Black Guy sounds pretty fucking arrogant, and I don't know, maybe someday I'll just start another channel, and then I'll campaign everybody. I'll be like, yo, let's get The Black Guy to 100K, just so I can get one of those fucking plaques so it just says The Black Guy right next to Some Black Guy. Well, that's it for all the questions, guys. So thank you so much for writing in. And once again, if you want to write in, just check out patreon.com/someblackguy, and you could just pledge for $2 and ask me whatever, and I'll answer what it is. You know, you can even ask me if you want me to marry you, and I will give you a genuine answer. Hey, maybe I will. You never know. But yeah, so thank you so much for listening to the first episode. That is going to wrap things up, and I hope this isn't a complete disaster, but I actually feel pretty good about this. I like the format. I like how this is. I wanted to incorporate the video because the video is so important. Probably going to just slice this bad boys up too, so then it can just be content that can be easy to consume as well. We'll see how that goes. It should be something, because people always keep telling me, you need to make more stuff. You need to make more stuff. Please make more stuff. And I'm like, I know the only reason I just don't make more stuff is because there's a lot of subjects that I do want to cover, but I don't feel like they deserve their own video, and like, let me try to write jokes and let me try to be funny with this, because it's just not that interesting. A lot of interesting stuff that I used to talk about has died out. You know, that golden age of YouTube is gone. And when like the whole community and the stuff that I was involved with was around, when it was popping and it was super fun, that shit is like fucking just almost dead, like completely gone. And I think I'll probably talk about that in the next episode, because I think talking about like the whole anti-SJW community and stuff and how it just like it's pretty much non-existent at a certain, pretty much to the most extent, would be a really fun episode to do. But thanks again, guys. Take care of yourselves, and I love you all. You're all very sexy. Every single one of you watching this, you're all sexy.